And it's always tough to be the last speaker, and after such profound presentations, well, I'll shift the conversation to another issue area, which is also of key concern. When we say that 1 out of every 3 women experience violence, it is everybody's concern. Before I launch into actually talking about communication and how you can use it to address this sometimes intractable and rather complex problem, I'd like you to watch this video. This video actually picks on some of the fabulous concepts and terms that have been used this afternoon: culture, social change, norm change, behavior change, collective action, all these lovely words which we all need to move and push if we want to see any community move towards either better sanitation, better life, avoiding problems like bonded labor, and this case, discrimination of women and girls.
बेटी, चलो चलो यहाँ से।
Yeah, this video even leaves me very emotionally moved, because when you travel to Haryana, there's a palpable absence of women in all places, whether it's school, whether it's in the streets, whether it's in the workspace. Of course, today there is really, the government has launched the Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao campaign, which is taking on the skewed sex ratio in a very dramatic and targeted manner. And Haryana is one of the states where the program has launched. It's launched in 100 districts. Now they are planning to include 61 districts in the next phase of the program, where clear mandate has been given to all district collectors to shift the sex ratio by 50 points. And when they mean by sex ratio, they mean sex ratio at birth. To shift the sex ratio will take a long time, but they are trying to target and say that we want at least higher births of girls. Now, this is the target that the government has set. I was in a meeting recently and they shared some of the findings of how this campaign has done so far. Some of these districts has shown a lot of change for the better, even 200 points improvement. But those that have done badly have shown 200-point decline. It's a very difficult and tall task. Changing the mindset is what we are all here pushing for. For a number of years, a lot has been done on addressing this issue in some of the most patriarchal and difficult terrains to work in, including Haryana. Breakthrough works in 4 districts in Haryana: Jhajjar, which has the worst sex ratio; Panipat, where the Prime Minister launched the Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao campaign; Sonipat, and Rohtak. So we are in 4 districts in communities, and we have launched this campaign, Mission Hazar, very much in the same, it launched about 3 years ago, and then now, of course, we have Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, which hopefully will strengthen the campaign. So the idea of using communication to shift the conversation has been very critical in this campaign. From moving from just looking at the act of feticide to linking the whole act of sex selection to discriminating girls, to daughter neglect. That has been something that has been a big movement in the last, I think, year and more. We have partnered with UNFPA to really build out a communication guide, which is available, and if anybody is interested, we can happily send them over, to really understand what is the deep linkage of really talking about sex selection and linking it with one of the aspects is, of course, Beti Padhao, but then there is nutrition, there is education, and even the right to safer abortion. So in all of this enthusiasm, the whole perspective should rest on women's rights. So I'd like to also mention that when we talk about communication for big impact, what is this big impact that we so desire? Does it take into account rights of people whose life this is impacting, and in this case, women and girls? So I think it's very critical to position communication in that light. So while we are talking about sex selection, we are really grateful that yes, the narrative framework has moved from one of just victim, from just looking at it as an act of feticide, to now looking at it as women and girls, what are their rights. But we are still, and I will reference here some of the tough ones. Are we addressing structural and systemic problems? Are we talking about property rights for women? I haven't heard that yet. Are we talking about greater safety and security for women? I mean, that has become a big buzzword now, but really, what is the action? Year on year, if we look at state-level budgets, there's very little allocation. I mean, now we are hearing about the One-Stop Crisis Center. So when we talk about communication for big impact, how does it then connect with the whole package is very critical. So while Breakthrough is using communication, and I will circle back to that, as a very important tool of agenda setting. So I think one thing we must be very humble about understanding what is the role of communication. It cannot do everything. One of its primary role is actually, yes, it is to really mobilize people for action. That is one role. It is also where there is no belief or there is complete denial that there is this problem, it can definitely agenda set or push the agenda much more strongly, whether it is a health or sanitation, whether it is other forms. It has to be backed up by very strong on-ground mobilization, which again uses communication in different ways. But yes, I mean, communication today has become a very stretchable term, and it can encompass everything, but I would, hesitate to do that. So I really think that one of the key things about communication is that it can really advance a way of thinking, it can shift discourses, and in, I think, today's age, when you have social, you have digital, and all kinds of media, I think the biggest thing that communication can do is be inclusive. I think that is something which we sometimes forget, that is it including everyone in the conversation? The most marginalized who don't have access to mainline media, are we using techniques and tools to reach them? So I think these are some of the challenges that when we use communication, we are absolutely faced by. So while as really a strong advocate for communication, it really helps us scale and reach large numbers. It helps us engage and talk to people and hear back from them. But it takes a lot of effort to push for real change to happen, and therefore communication is a strategy. It's a powerful strategy, it's a powerful tool for advocacy, and it should be used in healthy strategic combination with other tools as well, which could be other forms of community mobilization, training, research. I think a lot of the partners on the table spoke about different aspects of this. So I won't belabor the point. I'd love to end with a film. Initially, I thought I'll not speak at all and show you a whole host of films because the speakers before me did such a fabulous job of talking on communication. But I thought it'd be nice to just front and center the issue. I'll show you a clip that is from our current campaign, which is against sexual harassment. It focuses on conversations around harassment because of all the public conversation that has happened after the Nirbhaya rape case of aggravated assault. So much has gone on. But does anyone really understand what is going on in the home space? And I remember having this very interesting conversation with a B.Tech, a guy who had come to our office, and he was pitching for one of the apps we want to develop. And he asked a very naive question, and it sort of put me on my back foot, and I was really alarmed for a minute. He said, Shonali, I only know what it means to respect my mother or sister. I have never been taught how to respect women at large. So I only know what to do in interaction with my mother and sister, but am I supposed to take that framework and apply it to women I meet in the office, women I meet in the street, or what is it? Because my relationship is not the same. Can you please explain this to me? So I was thinking, but isn't this very simple? You just need to respect everybody. You need to treat them with dignity. You need to allow them access to spaces which men take as privilege. But he honestly wanted to discuss it. And I think that's my question of openness and inclusion. How are we able to create spaces where people can ask questions without fear and have a discussion? I think communication is actually the basis of how change will ever happen. But I would add to it two words that I hold very dear, is communication being open and non-judgmental. If we want big impact to happen, especially when we are working with young people, if you're judgmental, the first thing that will happen is they will turn away. So we cannot look down ever on anyone. So I'd leave you with some deep thinking around creating communication for social change, which is so critical, and we're all excited. It's a buzzword. It was not a buzzword 10 years ago. Neither was social change, neither was cultural norms. None of these were buzzwords as they are today. But I think in our happiness of, joining these buzzwords and picking them up, we should be very conscious of what they imply and stick to certain fundamental values so that we always create openness and also are inclusive. So I'll end with this video.
ये टोन चेंज कर दो।
क्यों मॉम?
बदल दो।
पर क्यों?
क्योंकि रोज जब मैं ऑफिस जाती हूँ, कुछ लोग मुझे देखकर ऐसे ही सीटी मारते हैं और मैं सीटियों से थक गई हूँ। Share your story with your son. Don't let what happened to you happen to another woman. To share your story, click on this link.
So, thank you so much. Just leaving you with this thought that social change doesn't happen when you push things down people's throat. They reject it, they oppose it. The idea is to implant a doubt that what they are doing is not right, and hopefully change will happen. Thank you.